Welcome to Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Roger Chen from University of San Francisco, and we are very pleased to welcome CC Fan to have a conversation on this topic. And this is part of the Silicon Valley Asian Business Talk, sponsored by University of San Francisco Center for Asia Pacific Studies, or CAPS. So I would like to ask a CC Fan, please briefly introduce yourself.
Oh, Hi, Rog. Thanks for having me here. I'm CC Fan. I started coding in 1998 and spent my early career building large-scale, high concurrency infrastructure. About 20 years ago, I was responsible for the backend of an instant message and social platform serving over 600 million MAU. After 2011, I founded three startups one by one, and all three were acquired. Along the way, I also became an early stage investor, and two of the companies I backed have since gone public. From 5 years ago, I shifted my focus fully back to building. I saw an opportunity to reconstruct the distributed computing from the ground up. So I spent 3 years creating a distributed open source framework called UMO. And from last year, I applied this architecture to global GPU scheduling and built a stateful serverless system designed specifically to help AI agent developers improve the capability, reliability, and the development efficiency. Yeah.
Thank you, CC. That's a very, very impressive background. Today, we're going to focus on your talk, which actually we show on the screen, called the Four Hidden Traps in Enterprise AI Adoption. And, we would like to ask you to kind of explain your view.
Trap number one, the RAG illusion.
Okay. Let's start. This year, AI agents are exciting. The market is very crazy about that. Funding for AI agent startups have tripled this year. Agentic AI is basically the new religion for investors. But we all say here is the funny part, and also be the painful part. Um, there are so many enterprise AI projects still stuck in the demo mode. So today I will show the traps I've seen again and again. Please to the next page.
That's great. So you're going to, kind of share your observation as an expert about the different traps of AI agent. Okay, that's great. Yeah, please continue. Yeah.
Yeah, the first trap I called the RAG illusion. Over the past year, everyone built RAG chatbots on top of internal knowledge bases. They looked smart, and the people said, wow, this chatbot knows everything. But here's a big problem. It only answers, it never acts. It doesn't create tickets. It doesn't update Salesforce or HubSpot. It doesn't send emails and other things. It only talks. Um, so users still do all the jobs. They will open Jira, SAP, Salesforce, and fill the form and click the submit button after they read the answer from the chatbot. So the result is very simple. for enterprise, it's still in the high cost. There is no delivery, just a smart FAQ system. So I think it's not an AI agent. That's the first trap.
Thank you. That's a very good. So basically, you're saying AI RAG or like a local context, they are just a passive knowledge base, right?
Hmm,
They do
yeah.
not kind of take actions. But my question is, isn't that the responsibility of AI agent? Rely on the local context knowledge to take actions. So in other words, RAG from the very beginning or the local context from the very beginning, it's not meant to take actions. The local context only meant to provide the background, relevant background knowledge to help AI to provide better answers. So how maybe you can articulate or kind of explain this further on.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, I think when ChatGPT came out, and we see LLM is very powerful. So at the very beginning, we started like LLM to process all our documents, all our internal knowledges, and we see it's a giant leap compared 10 years ago. And we see smart here. But um, for enterprise, enterprise uh, don't struggle with knowing what to do actually. They
Mm,
struggle is doing it at a scale. Um,
mm,
and and LLM in the past 2 years, we see the tool use or the function call usage is improved very a lot, and the tools were supported by various LLM models. At the very beginning, we only see OpenAI, the GPT model support function calling. When Gemini just came out, Gemini's tool use is very poor, and literally most of the functions you cannot invoke by the Gemini. Also the cloud mod at the very beginning. But nowadays we see tool usage is very powerful for the newly released models like GPT 5.1, Cloud Opus, and Gemini 3.0. So uh, so tool use is the ignoring part beyond the knowledge management. Uh, so uh, that's we see for enterprise perspective. If they if AI only replace with text, so humans still have to perform all the actions. That means the company doesn't save time, save cost, or headcount. So I say a better option um, is another one is action-driven system. That's an agent. Uh, so
mm.
so something can interpret the situation, make a plan, and actually execute for the next step. Um, like update system, write logs, trigger workflow, and complete the task. Um, so I think that's very important is because it's different between an information tool, uh, compare the information tool with an operational tool. Uh, so
Mm.
so that's a moment this year. That's a moment when AI stops being a chat window and becomes part of workforce.
Mm,
Yeah.
I see. I see. But actually, the reason I asked again, actually, uh, my objective is to ask you to better explain your points because clearly you are the expert in this field. But my understanding of the RAG technology in local context is beyond the chat box, even in the enterprise situation. Basically, if my understanding is correct, RAG technology allows company to upload their internal documents for many objectives. Chatbox is just one of them. So you can use the RAG technology to upload your internal documents, for example, legal case, your customer service histories, cases. So then you can still use the large language model or the agent to take actions based upon those local language, a local knowledge, or local context, which was enabled by RAG technology. So in that sense, RAG is not action oriented. That's okay because you can still use the agent or large language model to take action. The only benefit of RAG using the local context is you provide the local knowledge, relevant knowledge for AI to develop answers or take actions. Is this understanding correct or not correct?
Yes, it is correct.
Okay. Okay. So probably in this particular trap you are talking about is more about chatbox you're referring to, right?
Yes, chatbot.
Okay,
Chatbot
that's a good point.
is not enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and now I see your point. Thank you.
Trap number 2, the drag and drop comfort zone.
So now let's look at a trap two. Would you please kind of explain your point on trap two, which is a drag and a drop comfort zone? I assume you're talking about many platforms. They offer non-technical people low code or no code tool to develop agent. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, please explain actually your point.
Yes. Um, yes, uh I define this drag and drop tool. It's a comfort zone. Like tools like N8N, Zapier, and a couple months ago, OpenAI released their agent builder. They are amazing tools for prototyping. You can build something in one afternoon, actually. But in real enterprise systems, this will hit a wall. Um, uh, first, uh, first, the logic is too simple. Real workflows are messy, so drag and drop can hardly handle that. And second, it's still human controlled. It's people. We draw the boxes, we draw the paths, we draw the arrows, and we connect every elements. Uh, um, it the AI is not planning. It's we are. Um, and the last one is a platform lock-in. Um, or once you build it, you will stuck on that. You can't deploy it to your own system, VPC, or you. It's very hardly to improve the system continuously. Yeah, so I said drag and drop is a comfort zone.
Actually, I think this is a very, very interesting point. I'd like to kind of ask you further to clarify. First of all, actually, you mentioned about N8, N8N and Zapier, these platform, they are kind of a task flow is too simple, does not fit into the enterprise situation. I kind
Mhm,
of agree with you because I used the Zapier very briefly, but
mhm,
is it possible, let's say a company they want to use N8N, as you mentioned here, or Zapier, or any other kind of a simple drag and drop platform to develop agent. But
mhm.
the enterprise kind of adding its own task flow, kind of a change the task flow to make it fit with the company's situation. Is it possible?
Mm. Um, Um, I think it it's very hard to do that actually.
Oh, why?
Mm, mm,
The reason I asked this question is because when I used Zapier, I remember I can modify the workflow at the Zapier.
yeah, yeah. Um, Yeah, but it's very hard. It's because real enterprise workflows are messy. I think it's this is the biggest reason. They have exceptions, approvals, and compliance rules, um, and multiple systems. They need to stay in sync. So the drag and
Ah,
drop tools look simple, but they can't represent the complexity. Once the workflow grows beyond a few steps, the diagram becomes fragile, imaging a very complicated system. So it's impossible to maintain.
mm,
Yeah, for example, uh, a retailer um, trying to automate order escalation escalations. They need inventory checks, fraud checks, shipping status checks, customer history review, and supervisor approval, um, and many conditions, situations. But the drag and drop flow um, can draw arrows. Um, you will uh, you will get a very complicated diagrams, and you cannot reason about the edge cases and recover when one step when the system fails. So as the sense uh, goes on and you add more and more restrictions, conditions into this system, into this process, and you will feel you cannot maintain this system anymore. Um, so that I say basically drag and drop is very great for very simple tasks, uh, like just two or three steps, access only one or two uh, systems, other applications. Uh, it's very easy to do that. Uh, as the system complexity goes on and the cost of maintenance becomes impossible.
Actually, I want to thank you. This is an excellent point. So, I'm sure a lot of audience will thank you for these kind of explanation, especially the example. So basically, you're saying these kind of a drag and a drop system, because it's built in those platforms, it naturally it's kind of very simple. One of the key challenges I can see, based upon your answer, I can hear two very critical components or factors. One is how do you coordinate with companies' other systems, like the ERP system, inventory
Mm,
systems, to make it work, right? Because for any
mm,
enterprise, in order to make those kind of agentic AI system to work, you have to communicate, interface with the other kind of company operating systems. And those kind of a system is kind of difficult. I have follow-up question on that. So those kind of a simple drag and drop system is not easy to be compatible or integrated with the other system. Then relating to that is every time when you change, because they say, yeah, I agree with you, Emil, for enterprise, there are a lot of exception management, right? So when you
yeah.
change one thing, then it's affecting many other systems. So that also makes the things very complicated. Then comes the question following, also I think relating to your later point, because it is kind of a not deployable enterprise infrastructures, platform lock-in, right? So
Mhm.
what is the alternative kind of a system that's going to solve these problems. That's going to allow companies to easily integrate with companies' other operating system. I assume you're talking about the kind of customer-made system can solve these
Mm,
problems. Is that correct?
yeah. Yeah. Um, Actually, uh, uh, it, if we wanna do that, we really need a standard, uh, just like RESTful API specification, so system and system can interact with API. And for authentication, we introduce OAuth here, and so every system can have uh, the same way to identify a user. But for drag and drop, it's very hard because it's an application, and this application need to access other application, and all the systems are built by different vendors. Uh, but the drag and drop were only built by this company. And for example, if you use Zapier, build a workflow, and you use and build another workflow, basically you cannot interact between these two workflows. Yeah,
Oh, even
it's
when
very
you try
hard.
to use API to make them into work, it still does not work
Yeah,
to use
API can
API?
work. Yeah, like tools like and you can expose OpenAI API compatible chat compilation API interface once after you build the workflow. But it's very hard to use because you add new endpoint, a new system into this complicated system, and you let other applications as an API client to consume these services. And I think it's with a complexity. And for enterprise, it's very high cost, and you have to implement a lot of things. Besides that, like compliance, auditing, so stuff, uh, so things goes too messy now. Um, and Unlikely if you build your first workflow OpenAI agent builder, basically you cannot deploy to your private system because
Hmm.
it's only SaaS from day one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So let me clarify. So your recommendation, the solution is companies need to build their customized system rather than depend on multiple third-party systems. Is that your recommendation or that's not?
Oh, yeah. My recommendation is enterprise build uh their uh their
Customize the
applications,
system.
yeah, customized directly.
Oh.
Do not don't use this drag and drop system. We should coding the system and make the system maintainable. Yeah.
But actually, there are two situations here. Let's say if I'm a company, I use external systems. One type of external system is called a drag and drop system. Then you say it's not a very good idea to use those external systems. But does that mean as a company, I can still use third-party system, but I need to code. That third-party system requires me to kind of using the software code to customize it, but it's still a third-party external platforms. Is that what
Mm,
you recommend?
mm, mm, mm.
The reason I ask this question is, because I kind of study this, many small companies, they don't have the internal talents resources to build their own customized system. Many of these companies,
Yeah.
they have to rely on external platforms. So for external platforms, based upon your description, there are two types. One, drag and draw, maybe we can call low code or no code. The other is you still have to use kind of a software coding to build those systems. So could you clarify your view if a company has to depend upon third-party external platforms?
Yeah. Um, uh, mm, Basically, I think we should change another way to
Mm,
think about this question.
mm,
First, um, RM in the past 2 years, the reasoning ability is improved a lot. Why we don't use the reasoning effort of RM to
mm,
build the system, to build the or diagrams. Uh, for drag and drop, it's still a an automation tool. Basically speaking, it's automation. Uh, People draw the steps, and when people draw steps, there will be mistakes occurred, and people will investigate the errors and fix the errors and update the system and go online again. So you have to need a talents. The talents have a great abstraction ability to understand the logic and draw the diagram. When you have that one, you will have a great tool based on drag and drop. So I don't think it's a difference between coding or using tool. Um, I think the biggest problem is we we don't use the advantages of LLM. LLM, uh, let's think 2 years later, uh, maybe we see GPT 7.0 and Gemini 5. The model will be very, very smart. It it's very intelligent. And then we rely our employee, a very, say, a very basic employee to draw the process, an automation tool to process our workflow, or let LM easily create a complete workflow to handle the situation. So my opinion is we have to bet the technology improvement because we've all seen this in the last 60 years. So I think that's a fundamental reason. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's very good. Actually, I'm very glad, we have this kind of discussion. So here is a question, follow-up question. So if I understand you correctly, you basically say, um, don't create this kind of workflow. Rather rely on companies' influencing ability to let the large language model to create its own workflow process internally and adjust those internal process. Is
Yeah.
that your point?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So here's a question, because the reason some companies they need some kind of workflow is because company have internal policy, company have internal approval procedures, or
Mm.
company even have because of organizational power structure. So you need to follow particular steps. Every company is different. So because of that, uh, procedure. Every company has a policy. Those policies are step-by-step actions, right? And you can see even for the HR department, for example, the
Mhm.
the procedure is different from one company to the other because the company's uniqueness, the histories. So that probably, again, I'm just asking your kind of thoughts. Does that mean the workflow is still necessary? Because that's how company operates. And that's how make one company unique and different from the other company, because the way they do things are different. When we say the way of doing things different from one company to other, we basically mean the workflow is different. So how do you respond to that point?
Um, I think we cannot rely on people to define the workflow. Um, in the last 20 years, we build digital systems to help enterprise improve. Most of the systems have two significant feature. First one, they use database. Second, it's an automation tool, from Salesforce to GitHub. It's all do that.
Hmm.
Yeah. And and uh, why after this system introduced to enterprise, but the enterprise cannot uh, s- get a significant improve because the people control all these workflows. So
Yeah,
the
because
limitation,
people, you're right, that's true. Yeah.
yes, the limitation of people makes the system cannot uh, go high. That's why LM is very popular today because when you chat to uh, the SOTA model, it's just smarter, uh, smarter than doctors nowadays, and every decision is made by a doctor. Can you imagine that? Yeah. So I say we put LM, we put intelligence in every step, but we don't put intelligence in the whole process. That's a big mistake.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is a very fascinating philosophical discussion. Um, so, actually, I think your point basically is let LLM to decide its work process, not human being, because LLM also follows certain process when they take the task, right? They
yes,
must decide what is step one, two, three. But your point is don't let the human being to do it. Let the system decide what is the process.
yes. We should define all our policies, limitations, specifications by documents. That's the rules. And we put all the rules to LM. And the reasoning step of the LM will
Yeah, they will figure
understand
out the
all the
process. I
rules.
see your point.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yes.
I know what you're talking about. Well, maybe there's an only tricky point, and we can move on to the next one because this is a very fascinating debate. So for some companies, they may even, because it seems to me you agree that companies should put some limitations, restrictions, maybe we call it guardrails, then let
Guardrails,
the
yeah.
LLM to decide, right? But for
Yeah,
some companies, they may even view the process, like a step one, two, three, as part of the guardrail, as part of the rule process, as part of the instructions, right? So
yeah.
again, that's not because there's no answer to that question, but I see your point, which is a very, very good point. But I think the overall direction is very clear from you. Human beings should have put less restrictions and let LLM to do more things using its internal intelligence.
Yes. We should go to intelligence
Yeah.
beyond automation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's why, actually a lot of people still use a kind of a, task flow because we believe the system is not smart enough, not trustworthy enough to take over the whole process, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? But I
Yes.
think I see your point. Thank you. So now let's look at, do you want to say something about this one?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time we build the workflow is totally a black box. Maybe we tried it 50 times and it gives correct answer, but we cannot guarantee every time this workflow can give the correct answer.
Sorry,
Um,
CC, actually, could you, before you continue, could you kind of explain a little more when you say the task flow is mostly black box? What do you mean by that? Because for a lot of people, task flow requires people to put a clear definition at each step, clear prompt, clear instruction at each step, like a step, node, trigger, criteria. Seems to some people it's not a black box. But when you say most
hmm,
task flow are still black box, what do you mean by that?
hmm, okay. Let's talk about from an example.
Mm,
Imagine
good.
uh,
Example is good. Yeah.
imagine a customer asks for a refund. Uh,
Mm,
and uh, and the workflow should first read the policy and give the answer. You're eligible for a $100 refund. But then uh, we should start to process the refund and then cancel the shipment. At last, we have updated the inventory. Um, uh, and uh, and uh, uh, this workflow, um, when when you do when you do that by drag and drop tools, you will see each step. Uh, I mean, you cannot guarantee the AI will follow all these steps consistently, um, because its reasoning is invisible. And the moment you add conditional branches and the workflow becomes unmanageable. So the diagram looks transparent, but the decision making is still a black box. Uh, uh, we transfer all the context from the first step to next step. Um, and uh, and I think it's a technical problem. Uh, each step in these tools simply calls an LM API. And if we want to maintain the accurate and consistent context across many steps, it's extremely hard. And we keep all the information, all the context in our memory, and we every step we call API, and the next step we call API again, and the context changed. And you have to maintain it correctly. And the small variations changed lead to different outcomes, and all the
mm,
steps after will go to another branch. Um, so, uh, so I think the better approach is to embrace what modern LLMs are actually good at, reasoning still the previous thing. Uh, that's uh, we let LM reasoning in one context to decide how to do that, and after it executes. So it will be make things clearly because the reasoning steps you can improve it because you can see it. You don't see 8 reasoning steps. You see only one. There is no branches. Everything started in one branch has an end. So that's very different. That's very different from black box. Uh, I say it's a transparent system. Yeah.
mm. Okay, that's an excellent point. So in other words, I kind of hear your point. You think one of the major problem, if we follow this kind of predetermined task flow, is it kind of break the context into separate, isolated parts. So these
Yes.
different contexts do not talk to each other. Every time one step relate to one context and calling the LLM model to do using API to do certain things. So that
Yes.
will prevent the large language model to see the whole picture. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So here's the question relating to that. Is it possible, let's say, you still use kind of a large language model, you're still rely on its inference model, but you give the instruction about the step 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than kind of using the drag and drop model. So in other words, when you give the large language model the prompt, you give the large language model the instruction based upon certain flow, 1, 2, 3, 4. In that situation, where the large language model still treat this whole task, even though it includes several steps, as a one
Hmm.
big context.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, yeah. Uh, uh, One situation is when you proceed the step three, you found there is a problem here, and
Mm,
you needed to back check step one and step two.
mm,
Uh,
mm.
this situation is very hard for workflows. Yes, and if you wanna handle that, your prompt and your logic, like you define demos, like LM now, how to do that. Um, uh, the more you define in prompts, uh, actually, you make LM will more um, hallucinate in that. Uh, yeah, because it is very hard to control the LM. Don't do something. What you can do is tell LM, you do this. Uh, yeah, that's a problem of LM, because it's not a generative AI. Yeah.
I'm still not very clear. Are you saying even within when you work with the one large language model, even you do not use those kind of let's say workflow determined or kind of created by the system, you just give the large language model prompt. But in that prompt, you say do 1, 2, 3, 4. And one of the problem is if something wrong with the step number 3, it's not easy for the large language model using its influencing ability to go back to step 2 or step 1. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, you can do that. We usually call it one shot or few shot. It's
Mhm.
prompt skills, right? But when things go complex, like you have 10 steps and you have to write a lot of these few shots into the prompt, and that make LM confused.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I said. Uh, Usually we don't tell them do not do this thing in our prompt because
hmm.
sometimes you will find it's useless. RM still do things you don't want it to because that's RM. What we do is we should tell RM you have to do that. You do that will be good. We won't tell RM to do not do something because that make RM confused.
Oh,
So yeah, so prompt have a limitation, and a few shots not worked every time, especially for this logic. For this logic, I'm will confuse when you see if you got error in step three, back to step two. But if you see another error in step three, you have to skip step five, just go to step seven, uh, and that's confused. What we do,
hmm.
yeah, uh, it's tell then just like the flight manual. Uh, a palette use a flat menu. It's very clear, but we cannot describe everything that clear for our business logic. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, just
That's
like
excellent. Mm. Okay,
yeah,
that's great. So shall we move on to the next trap?
yeah,
Okay.
Trap number 3, the MCP Mirage.
yeah. The
So
next
trap
trap,
three is talk
yeah,
about MCP. That's another also very interesting point. Would you please kind of talk about your thoughts or your critique about MCP, Iraj? Yeah.
yeah. MCP is very hot. It's the hottest topic this
Yeah.
year, I think. Yeah. People say MCP is like the USB for AI agents and one protocol to connect everything. And but it has bad things for enterprise applications. Please help me go to the next slide.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I add an image. It's a meme uh, from uh, from LinkedIn. It's very popular
Mm.
in the past months. Yeah, they say MCP is probably the only piece of tech that has more builders than users. Why? That's because when you deploy application developed based on MCP into your customer system, especially enterprise system, you will got a lot of um, fails because um, when MCP launched late last year, most LLMs didn't even support function calling feature. That's why. That's MCP solved a real problem back then, giving AI a standard way to access tools. But things change fast. Today, the function calling features is built into every major model and runtimes, and now we see the problems of MCP. For example, when you um, when you see the Anthropic and Cursor forum, you will see many people talk about the context bloat because if you add GitHub, MCP, and some other MCP, and you will see uh, about one third context window uh, was used by only two MCP, and you have to find a way to control that. But actually, you cannot do that. So I say that's the biggest problem because it caused the token waste, and the context window is very limitation nowadays. If you bloat, you have to restart from the very first step, and the MCP have some other uh, bads, like the enterprise authentication and high latency things. So it makes the enterprise adoption fails.
Okay, maybe can you use one example to kind of explain to the general audience, especially those non-tech, people who are not very deep in technology, about why, this LinkedIn is a very interesting example. MCP builders has many, many people, MCP users, very few people, and also relating to that called a context bloat and related problem. Are you able to give one example to explain this problem? What does that mean and why this is a problem?
Yeah. For example, in um, we can search how to reduce GitHub MCP
Mm.
tokens from Google, and you can see a lot of discussion about that. And for Cursor, the AI coding IDE, and we can find people talk about usually they have a programmer needed to integrate 5 MCPs into their IDE. For example, GitHub, Slack, Sentry, Grafana, and something else. For GitHub MCP, it will as around 26,000 tokens every time, every round trip. And for Slack, Slack has another 21 kilometers, no, 21,000 tokens. Yeah, so basically GitHub and Slack, they consumed 50K tokens together. It's nearly a half of the total context window. And later you have to put all your codes into the context window and send to LLM together. And you will see the LLM will give error, and Cursor told you have to you cannot solve this problem. Currently, you have to start fresh new. Yeah, we see these problems again and again, and I see about 10% discussion in this coding IDE is all about how to reduce the token usage when introduce MCP into that.
So the way I kind of understand you is one of the, kind of a easy to understand problem is the current version of MCP will require developers use lots of tokens. But why you say these tokens are wasted? Because I understand when you use a lot of tokens, it costs money for sure. But why you say token is wasted in this situation? Could you kind of explain? And also, what are the solutions to reduce the token waste there?
Oh, I think context bloat um, is it's because model is forced to read far more information
Hmm.
than the task actually needs. With MCP, every tool definition gets injected into the prompt from schemas to parameters, capabilities, uh, even if the agent only needs one of them, but you have to put them on every time in every round trips. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. So this gets out of control very fast, and you have to introduce uh, more than one MCP to solve the problem, and everyone do that. So, so I call it burning the tokens overhead. Yeah.
Could you kind of maybe one more time, could you kind of say it again? Because you say, something relating to when you try to ask LLM to do things, you will include every context information into MCP, and that is a waste. Could you kind of articulate a little bit? Because I think I start to understand what you're talking about. Seems to me say it's not necessarily to include every context information in one MCP, right? And could you kind of elaborate that problem?
Um, yeah, because before you ask a question,
Mm.
LM don't know what you want to ask, and you don't know what LM need. So for MCP, every time you ask questions, you have to contact MCP server at first and get all the information back and put every MCP descriptions, this stuff together into with this question request to LLM. Yeah, so it's basically very not intelligence. And uh, and a couple days ago, Anthropic started to solve this problem. They create a tool called a tool can optimize uh, the all the tools when you submit it to the LLM. It's called a tool to optimize the search tool. So it reduced the token from 50,000 to 500 token only needed.
Oh,
Yeah, it really improved a lot for MCP.
that's
Yeah,
great. Thank you. Okay,
yeah.
so do you want me to move to the next one, or you still have more to explain?
Yes, we go to the next slide.
Okay,
Trap number 4, the tech lock phenomenon.
trap 4.
Yeah, yeah. The last trap is tech-lock phenomena. As one AI investment creates a technology play to big cost. Uh, we all see that for a workflow or an AI agent. Uh, if we wanna migrate their LLM model from like GPT-4 to GPT 5.1, you will got failed. And basically, you have to rewrite all the prompts and rewrite all the tools description, definition, and you have to test all the edge cases for this intelligent system.
Oh, by the way, CC, even for the same system, let's say OpenAI, kind of even with the same company system from one generation to next generation, you have
Mhm.
to redo all these kind of things.
No, actually, no. Yeah. Um,
I'm just
yes.
trying to kind of clarify. Please continue. When you say, what do you mean? You have to kind of redefine all the terms and upload all the contacts. Because I thought actually if it's with the same company, for example, Gemini 2 and Gemini 3, all the history is still there. But is it true or not true?
Yeah. For example, we have a customer in uh in uh commerce industrial, and
Hmm.
they started introduce LLM into their system 3 years ago, and they built the system based on GPT 3.5, and
Hmm.
later uh, uh, they found GPT-4 is great, but
Hmm.
GPT-4 is kind of expensive.
Hmm.
And they tried GPT-4 Mini. Oh, they
Hmm.
found GPT-4 Mini did great
Hmm.
for their situations.
Hmm.
Um, but later this year, they want to try to migrate to like Gemini
Hmm.
2.5 Pro. Um, uh, they just migrate the model name and the API address, but they found all system down because the biggest problem is the same tools or the same MCP. The Gemini model uh, didn't invoke these tools. Yeah, this is very bad because you cannot understand how to improve it.
Hmm.
Yeah, you started to rewrite the prompt, and after about more than 100 time changes later, they found the system can work on Gemini, but they started to review all the migration jobs. They will found all the prompts were changed, and all the tools they reread the description. Yeah, that's totally cannot let enterprise customers understand because we just improve migrate from with more intelligence models, but the agent seems more intelligent anymore. Yeah.
Okay, so now I understand you. Basically, you say if this company stay with ChatGPT from model 2.5 to model 2.25 of model 3 mini, model 4, that is okay because the same system, just different generations. But if this company changes its model or it's kind of the user's model from, let's say, changes from the ChatGPT to Gemini, then all the agent, all the prompts will be destroyed in a sense. They have to rework on it. Is that correct?
Yes, 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 and for the theme series like GPT series, uh, um, this our customer want to reduce the cost from the LLM, and they test their agent from GPT-5 downgraded to GPT-5 mini. They found seems not good, but when they back to GPT-4o mini, everything great. Yeah, so it's very hard for uh, the um the agent to keep improving as LLM models improving. Every time you have to change uh, change the things. So if you build a complex system like you have a 1 million documents, a rack system, basically you won't want migrate LM models because you need to redo everything.
Yeah, so again, I want to clarify. When you say migrate to a different LL model, there are two
Model.
situations here. One is you migrate to a better version of the same company's LL model, like for ChatGPT 4, ChatGPT 4.5, but same company, just different generation, right? That's one
Yeah,
scenario. The another scenario is I want to change from ChatGPT's model to Google's Gemini model. That's a second
yeah,
type of migration. Are
yeah.
you saying in the first situation, when you migrate to a better version, but the same company model, all the agent still useful in the past. You work, all the agent that you worked in the past still work. But when you try to migrate from one company's LLM to a different company's LLM, all the agents, the rack systems have to rework. Is that correct or not correct, based upon your
Yes,
example?
correct, correct, correct.
So in other words, if they stay with the same company, that's okay. The old kind of prompts, rack system, all these things still work because they're compatible. But when you try to change companies, LLM, then it's not compatible.
Yeah. For same company, most of the time, it's more it's better. But
Mm.
not every time, especially from GPT-4 to GPT-5, you will see there is different. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, for customers, they have to reduce the cost of the LLM because uh, older LLM models, most of the time, they are expensive. Yeah, the new model they will cheaper and faster. Yeah, that's why they have to migrate, but they they are afraid to migrate.
Yeah, I know, I understand. Actually, I just try to understand, let's call that migration challenge, meaning
Migration
the
challenge.
things that
Yeah.
work in the past, right? Whether it's a work or not in the new system. So I just want to make sure I understand you correctly. It seems to me you say even when a customer or enterprise migrate within the same company system, let's say ChatGPT from 4.5 to 5, even that type of migration, there's still some issues. But
Mhm.
when the company try to migrate from one company to a different company system, like I say, from ChatGPT to Gemini, the migration challenge is even bigger. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Oh, but I think that's a very good point. Yes, these days enterprises were constantly looking for better systems, cheaper, faster, smarter. But you say migration is a very big issue, right?
Yes, yes. Right.
But how do you solve that problem? How do you help an enterprise solve that problem? This migration or tech lock. You call it tech lock problem.
Yes, yes. We create uh, uh, a CI/CD tool for testing the
Mm,
agent. Uh, it's a regression test system. We let our customers write the test spec for this agent, not by developers, it's by users. They write, usually they will write 300 test specs. Every test items, they write the instructions and they check the answer manually. So every time you migrate the model or improve the prompt or add new tools into this system, you have to run all the test specs. And for enterprise customers, we introduced LLM to try to analysis the test results to see if meets requirements. Um, uh, so, uh, what what we what we are doing is we help our users and developers build AI agent with confidence. If they have if they have confidence to release the agent, they will have confidence to improve or update every step, everything. And I see this is the important thing for uh, AI adoption is the CI/CD process or regression
could
process.
you spell out CI? What does CI mean? What does CD mean?
Oh, it's a word from developer word. CI means continuous integration, and the CD
Oh,
means continuous deployment.
Oh,
Yeah,
continuous integration, continuous deployment.
deployment. Yeah,
So, in other words, your solution to this migration challenge for enterprises is to work with the enterprises to test, right? Every
yeah,
time they use a new system to kind of a test before they adopt. Is that what you're talking about?
yes, yes.
Could you kind of maybe give a little more explanation or even just a small example explaining your test approach to help the enterprise before they fully adopt as they
Oh,
migrate? Could you? Yeah.
oh, yes. Like we have customers, they build an agent uh for some big brands. They sell uh fusion staffs to high-end customers. And they build the agent to help users can find a great look. We call it a OOTD agent. Yeah. And we we say, for example, a user asked, I will go to Florida to attend my friend's uh, event, and what should I wear? Um, uh, for this question, and you have to write test to check if LM now next month uh, is the concrete date of next month. If LM have a hallucinate like some models from last year, they may said next month is 2024 July, and you know that's wrong. And you have to check if the LM have invoked the tools to check the current date. So LM can know next month is which month. And when you know the date, when you know the time, you have to check the weather then. And you know, oh, what's the temperature of Florida? So if LM checks weather by tools, you have to test that. And third, when LM gives your answer how you dress, you have to check if this style meets the Florida style. Like we have an event in the seaside in the shore, and you have to check it meets the styles in Florida. It's not in South Asia, right? For one instruction, you have to test all the cases and check if LMs do the uh, uh, do the great job to do that, because hallucinating we cannot get rid of. Hallucinating is always there. So we have to write a fully text for these cases. Yeah.
Okay, so I think if I understand you correctly, you basically break the issue into small pieces and a test in small pieces whether AI or large language model hallucinate. For example, you talk about the weather. What should I weather? What should I wear? And you check whether LM knows the correct time for next month, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of
Yes.
break. And also another thing you break the issue apart is to look at the style, whether LM understand what is a common dressing style in Florida, and then you know actually whether LM will give you correct or wrong answers.
Right.
Okay, so these are the way you kind of test whether the new large language model works for your prompt or not. Because we're talking about the migration, right? We're talking about the, when you migrate to a new system, or the old prompt that worked in the past may not work, or the instruction in the past may not work in the future instruction. So this is how you test the new model. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's great.
Yes.
So anything else actually you want to share with us?
No, let's go to the next slide.
Enterprise AI goals, AI agent handoff rate and ROI metrics.
So we see the traps here, and from the traps to the red metric, we should care about handoff rate. Handoff means means the tasks passes back to people. So handoff rate means the percentage of tasks that agent still need passes back to the people. And for
By the way, just to clarify, when you say handoff rate equal to percentage of tasks still passed back to human being, that means the failure rate, meaning the tasks that LLM does not do well, human being will take over to finish it. Is that what we're talking about, the handoff rate?
Uh, mm, no. Uh, a, I mean, uh, like uh, just like a chatbot, LLM give the answers, and you have to copy the text and paste it
Oh,
into your email client and click the send button to
oh,
your
the human
customer.
being will finish the whole thing. That's what you mean, the handoff rate.
Yes, means like action.
Mm.
Yeah,
So in
yeah,
other words, actually the low handoff rate means lower human takeover. Also
yes,
means high automation, right? So the system will
yes,
do more and a human will do less. That is the
yes,
handoff rate. Okay. Uh-huh.
yes. That's the handle rate. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, so, uh, enterprise shouldn't chase frameworks. They should mirror outcomes. That's the sure thing. And please go to the
By the
next
way,
slide.
when you say framework, the enterprise shouldn't chase framework. Could you explain what do you mean by frameworks?
Oh, um, um, I I saw many of my customers care about what's the model we use for this
Oh,
agent, and where do we deploy it? And do we use the NVIDIA H2000 or H200, or we use NVIDIA T4 handled model?
mm,
Yeah,
mm.
actually, that's not they care about. So every time I told my customers, can you explain the purpose when you uh, when you started building your agent? Because you spend a lot of money to build an agent. Um, what are you expecting the agent to do? I found um, 70% of my customers uh, cannot clearly speak out the benefits from this agent. So uh, I usually told them the handoff rate. Can you measure it by handoff rate? And half of my customers didn't reply my email about this topic. Uh, and uh, uh, and then most of them will replace topic 3 months later after they built the agent and they start think about this topic. I see it's so I said uh, what's the important thing is we need to measure the outcomes from AI agent, yeah,
Yeah.
beside
So now
frameworks.
I think I understand you. In other words, you're asking company to pay more attention to the level of automation. If level automation is still very low and you think the benefit is still not there, right?
Yes,
Okay. So do you want to go to the next one?
yes, yes. Uh, how to lower the handoff rate? Uh, Basically, there is a guideline to do that. It's a paper from Google Brain team, uh, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's called React. Basically, it means reasoning plus action.
Mm.
So based on this paper uh, and we extend this theory and make the platform from open source to the commercial platform to meet like developers build reasoning plus action. This agent uh, uh, give the tools for developers to to do that. Yeah. And I think an agent shouldn't stop at given answer. It should think, then take action by calling the right tool or API to complete the task. So the agent, just like an employee, to do the same thing. Um, yeah.
It seems to me actually, in order for enterprises to truly follow this act reasoning, it requires the enterprise to be patient. In other words, when they spend money developing agent, so they should expect the AI agent will not work initially. They should be ready, prepared that AI agent is going to make a lot of mistakes and learn by itself. So therefore, for enterprise perspective, they probably should not expect immediate high quality return. Is that a correct interpretation of your point here?
Mm, mm, mm,
Because it takes time for AI agent systems to go through this act reasoning, act of reasoning. AI agent need to make mistakes, need to see the results, then reason, then improve. So for companies, enterprises, they have to be patient and allow agent to go through this process rather than expect immediate success. That is my
mm,
question.
mm. I yeah, I'm thinking um actually this is problem every enterprise meet. They wanna build agent uh, to help their employee uh, do things quickly and efficiency, um, but nowadays I think the big problem is um, um, there are too many systems and functions already there. And you have to let LM select the best choice to execute exactly the 5 actions. It is very hard. Integration is very hard. So the results won't be great currently. Yeah. Mm, yeah. And we see uh, and expect this in next 2 years because all the dependencies, SaaS systems still uh, still don't uh, friendly to RM. They are designed friendly to user, to people, to human beings, but not designed for RM. So there is a lot of work to do. Yeah.
Okay, so when you say these kind of enterprise system, are you talking about the CRM systems, the inventory systems, and the SAP systems? Are you referring to these kind of systems?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you because actually when companies build these kind of operation systems, AI is not there, they mainly try to make it user friendly, right? But they never thought about the large language model friendly because there was no large language model at that time, like a
Yeah,
Slack, those kind of things, right?
yeah.
So yeah, it's a very good point. But when you say 5 things, could you kind of elaborate? I know this is Salesforce system. Are you referring to these 5 systems?
No, actually, we are still trying to do that, because like Shopify and Salesforce, uh, um, 80% of my customers need integrate with that systems, especially Salesforce. It's very hard to integrate it into with RM because um, because our customers build an agent um, can search web to get the opportunities, and once they get a company can be can become to their customers. They will add this company's info into Salesforce by create a lead there. After create a lead, they will create the person, the company, the contact into this system. And 2 minutes later, this agent write a cold email to the customer. And agent will update the lead and add the email he sent. A couple of days later, and the customer reply the email, and the system, the agent will put this email into Salesforce and update the activity, the email logger, to log this email back. It's very hard to maintain so many APIs from Salesforce, and usually a person do this. Maybe they will get response in at least 2 weeks because there is a lot of work to do. But for agent, it all finished in just 2 minutes. Yeah. So why agents need to every details into Salesforce? Salesforce means to manage salespeople, to do things great and meet the requirements from the company, but the agent don't. So that's I say why system didn't design for LLM nowadays, and LLM has to integrate the APIs which designed for people. So LLM, so it is hard to build things currently.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's a very insightful point. So can you talk about this one?
Yeah, and I define three big metrics that drive ROI for a company's investment on AI, and is accuracy, latency, and cost. Every customers want to keep the accuracy can be improved day by day, and they care about the latency because latency is mean productivity. And last, as nowadays we see data centers is created everywhere, and the cost of the LLM should reduce a lot. For this year, from this year, we see reasoning models reduced from $30 to less than $1. I remember from this February. Yeah, and the cost is very sensitive for enterprise users. So I define these three metrics for enterprise to measure the ROI.
Okay, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think it definitely kind of very clear. Thank you. It does. I agree with you. These are very critical measures. Okay, so anything else actually you would like to kind of share with the audience about your kind of views about the AI agent in enterprises, the traps, solutions, things like that?
No. Thanks a lot. We talk about
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to thank you, actually, CC. This is a fascinating discussion, talking about a lot of issues, very technical, and we want to thank you for the great sharing. Okay. So
Thank you, Roger.
yeah. So I will stop the recording, and
Okay.
Thank you for watching.